Hello, everyone. My name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with episode 8 of Rock as a Lady's Modesty. And we kick off right back where we from the episode 7, the end of episode 7, where the group is having a practice session, and essentially, the girl, it's the end of the series where Tamaki tells Tina, "You need to go, sweetheart. You suck." That's kind of where we start off. We actually begin a little bit beforehand. So they're practicing, and Tina's about to begin, and she's imbued with the music. She's a little naked, kind of like a pastel naked. We just see her without clothes a little bit, and she's like, "This is the thing I really want. I gotta do it," and that's kind of where it's at. Unfortunately, no matter what she did, she just couldn't manage to do it, and Tina, Tamaki tells her, it's time to go. You're halfway keyboard. Tina tries to uses her little stuffed animal support, and it doesn't necessarily work. But a little bit of the conversation, she asks, why do you want to become part of this band? And she said, this is the only thing that's made me super happy. Like, I can finally be myself. It's something that will help me become a person, break out of my shell and everything. And Tamaki is brutal. Like, this is no place for your spiritual journey. I've seen people who in the past who bring down other bands, like She's That Old, whatever, who's Pat, I guess, Dream, it brought their band down, and it just kind of seemed to really suck for them. It's like, take your journey elsewhere. And she's about to leave, and in this moment, she says, she's out the door. She's like, I'll go. I don't want to be a burden to you." And that reminds Lisa of her mother when they're about to go away. Basically, she you no longer need this sweetheart anymore. The guitar's all broken, everything. It's done really, the coloring and everything does a lot better than it is in the manga. It's you need to, so the rock music was sort of burden for them. Maybe they lived in a very poor neighborhood or something. And I realize the eyes are now a little bit screwed up, but given this, anyway, so rock and roll music was sort of a bit of a burden to them. And Lisa's not happy with this. She bets out a thing and tells Tamaki, "Give me 5 days and I will transform Tina Inu to a respectable guitarist. You'll or keyboardist." And she's like, yeah. She doesn't buy it, but she's like, "What, are you afraid?" And she's like, "All right, fine. Go ahead, do what you need to. We'll meet back in 5 days." And at this time, as she leaves, Ota, the brilliant Ota, the passionate Ota, makes a suggestion. "Why don't you play less notes? We'll give her less notes to use. You need to be able to play it to completion rather than play all of it. And it's about the passion. So it doesn't really matter if you can't play all the notes, as long as we can play and sound good and have lots of fun. That's what matters to Oda." So she's like, lessen the load on her, and we'll take up the slack. It'll be a lot better for you. All of this beautiful Ota, so wonderful. Anyway, and so they begin practicing. Now, something the anime does that I kind of felt like the manga misstepped a little bit here is when they do a little bit of practice on a show. Is this scene right here? I feel like you could have done a little bit where they could show, even amongst her bandaged hands, that her hands are still hurt. She's bruised and everything. I don't know. I feel like I would have wanted a little bit more see a little bit more of that damage, but that's okay. Anyway, this we got a couple of original anime scenes only. When they leave for practice, Ota and Tamaki talk about the past, as they were kids. Tina and Lisa's passion remind a lot of when they were kids, when they saw this concert, what inspired them to do rock music. Then another thing is when they go back to, when they when Tina shows off her skills, she's like, "This was no, you gotta leave. You suck still." And Ota's like, "Well, it was my suggestion to shorten everything," and the poor the Tamaki is like, "Oh, it was your suggestion. Well, okay, I guess we can go along with it." Being very, she's like, "Okay, you can say we'll make this happen. Let's practice." And they have their practice session, and as they leave, Lisa and Tina are gonna still practice. They gotta get ready for the concert, and while Ota and Tamaki are talking, and she's like, Tina, why'd you let Tina kind of join? Once she becomes a rock music, the support that she's had with her family is no longer support. It's going to be a brutal world for her. But she's like, the reason that Ota is accepting of her is because she came on her own free will. She wanted to do this. Nothing but, Lisa and Ota's music, their passion, inspired her to want to join. So, she was drawn into it of her own free will and just like, hey, I just want to play with you. And this is what's necessary for my journey. She had the fire to do it. And, there was no need for money or anything. She wanted to find her true self. And that's what inspired her. Then the episode we get to the it's 2 days later. They're at time to play their music. They unveil the ladies kind of unveil their outfits. One of them we're going to talk about in just a sec. But yeah, they get to the band place and we see Lisa's outfit. She's got this teenage girl, it's a lip with the tongue sticking out. And she, of course, gives Tina a similar outfit, but it really showcases her boob. And she's like, can't you make me something that hide my midriff? And Lisa's like, you're this tomboy. Nobody knows you have these giant booba. Now deal with it and make your hair a lot more girly, whatever. It's not this masculine. And while this happening, the other group comes in. It's like, oh, so you're the competition. This is who Tamaki is joined forces with. They kind of have a bit of a little bit of brawl, verbal brawl. And there's a little bit of change from the manga where Aki and her group decide to fondle the breasts of Tina, whereas it's not in the case. Tamaki's like, are you here to fondle breasts or you're here to make music, whatever. So that's missing from this. That's missing from the manga, and there is one other thing we're going to talk about. But they have this fired up moment. The group is like Aki's group's like, we've been at this for 4 years. You guys probably just saw some anime and we wanted to do it, even though that's not necessarily the case. But they have this big back and forth banter. That's kind of nice. And the end of the episode's they're the crew's looking forward to Tamaki's playing and everything. He's like, what am I going to do to impress? That's what goes through Lisa's mind. So that's essentially the episode. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Ota, what we're going to expect the next episode, because the manga chapters, the rest of 13 and a little bit of 14, we had a lot more bonus scenes. You had to save the episode 9 to be the rock and roll, the big moment. I think Ota's outfit is going to be censored. And the manga, she has a very flashy outfit. It shows her booba to kind of draw away eyes from Tina and her big booba. Even though Ota doesn't have big things, there's going to still be that, try to lessen the distraction. So she's be a little bit of the showing. And the reason I kind of realized this is because I think it's going to... Oh, maybe not. I am actually wrong. It's based on this picture, so maybe not. They will actually show her booba. I'm a bit surprised. Okay. Just based off the the opening song day, she's wearing a different outfit. But no, if one of this images shows her knockers out, okay, I'm surprised. They've been kind of censorship in a little bit, so yeah. This is the outfit that she was mentioning. I can make it get a little bit closer. But this is what she was wearing, right here in the corner. And then, where is Tina? This is what Tina's wearing herself. So, next episode should definitely be a sporting goods. I guess since they showed Tamaki's booba then, but I know Ota's is showing a lot more. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. kind of a solid episode. This is obviously right before the big storm. We'll see them in action. So yeah, I kind of like the new kind of extra scenes and saving both the band and both bands' music performance for the next time. I would kind of want it to be a little bit longer, but not necessarily needs to happen. I mean, you have 23 minutes. You can put 2 songs in there. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you have a wonderful day.